So if you're any kind of a creative person trying to make a career out of the thing that you love doing, you've probably run into friends or family members or just vague acquaintances asking you to do work for free in exchange for the fabled exposure, right? This is a tale as old as time. It'll be great for your portfolio, is what they tell you. Now, you're probably expecting me to give advice saying, run for the hills, don't do it, and just close up the video, and that's the end of it. However, I would actually argue that there are some really good reasons to do work for free sometimes. They're just not the ones that you'd think, and they're definitely not the ones that people are pitching you when they're asking you to do it. Hey there, I'm Janelle, and I have been a freelance graphic designer for 15 years now. I have made every possible mistake on the road to being a full-time creative, and I want to help you get to the thing that you love doing without as much heartache. Okay, so while you're in the first years of your creative practice, whatever that looks like for you, you're probably going to run into this question a lot. I know I did. And the thing is, it's not nefarious. Most people are not out to get one over on you. Odds are that the people in your life are genuinely trying to help you. They have a thing, an event, or a business, or a project, and you need work, you need examples, you need to get your feet wet, and you definitely need a portfolio. So they're trying genuinely to offer a like-minded trade in a way that seems fair to them. Usually people are actually trying to help because they want to support you and your new enterprise. That's not a bad thing. However, the main bargaining chip tends to be, this will be great for your portfolio, you do this work for me, and you can use this as experience and you can show it as examples of your work, right? That's kind of a problem, because the truth is that when you do work for free, often it creates this weird pressure. You probably haven't signed a contract because this is just kind of an informal agreement. You probably haven't taken them through the normal steps you would with a client, so you're not getting the same level of intake that you normally would if you were just meeting someone cold, right? They probably have more of a clear idea of what they want done, and they think they're helping you along by saying, oh, I've already picked out this font, and here's this, grainy JPEG that I want you to use as reference, and I really love the colors blue and purple and green. And so they're helping you along by making it easier for you. The problem is, the whole point of putting together a portfolio, especially as you're getting going, is that you want to make work in your portfolio that represents the kind of work that you want to do in the future, right? Austin Kleon, one of my favorite design thinkers, always talks about how work begets work. You want to put forth the work that represents the more work that you want to get. And the problem with doing all this free work is that often it has nothing in common with the kind of work that you want to do. So there's this weird pressure right from the get-go that you're trying to fulfill the things that they need to do, and you want to do it quickly because you're not getting paid for it, but you also are trying desperately to make it look like something you would actually be proud of showing. And that creates this weird tension. And then before you know it, you're going 18 rounds of revisions. Not a joke, I actually did that once. Trying to make it work for the person who has this very clear idea of what they had in their head, and you're trying desperately to hold on to some level of control of this project so that you can walk away with something that you actually can use. That's the worst case scenario. My advice would be to separate trying to make a portfolio from the idea of, will you take on work for free? There are a lot of good reasons to do work for free. Maybe you really love the person and you want to help them. You want to bless the business that they're doing and you want to see them succeed. Maybe it's a cause that you really believe in. It's a nonprofit and they can't afford to pay you, but you want to support their cause. If that's the case, I have a lot of advice on how to bill them for that, but list it as a donation so you can write it off for tax purposes. That could be a whole other video if you want to know. Maybe you want to donate your work for a silent auction of a charity that you support. There are a lot of reasons that you could want to do something for free. Usually it's because you care about the person and the thing and you want to help them. And that's an entirely different thing than because they're doing you a favor of getting work for your portfolio. So separate them completely. Have a metric of when you know, yes, I'm willing to do that work for free. So the next time you're at a cookout and Aunt Marge corners you and asks you to do some work for her hair salon, you have an answer that fits in your own brain about whether or not you want to take that project on. That's number one. Whatever the metric, When you decide that it's worth doing something and you want to help them for free, you need to set the expectations for what that would actually mean. Maybe it means that you're willing to do it, but you'll limit the deliverables that you're giving them because you're doing it in a tighter time frame and with less steps to the process. Maybe it means that you're only going to do one round of revisions instead of what you would normally offer. Whatever it is, come up with limitations and expectations so that the job feels manageable for you and you're not resenting going through this long process that you would normally do in a way that feels unfair or that you would end up resenting down the road. So name whatever boundaries would make the experience feel non-taxing to you, and then you make an ask in return. It's not the portfolio piece that's valuable here. It's the chance to work with real clients. You can come up with a lot of good things for yourself, but you can't fabricate real client work. So use this as an excuse, as a chance to test out your client process. Take them through the same way that you would take a normal client so that you can kind of treat them like a guinea pig and stress test where the issues are in your process. What questions do they run into? Oh, that means you need to fill out your FAQs more or put more clarity in your project materials so that it's clearer for them. See where they're tripping up in the process. What questions do you ask them that they respond well to? You can flesh out your intake questionnaire. Work on your materials so that you can give them, a full intro packet and a goodbye packet and test out all of the pieces of that process on a free guinea pig that's someone who already wants to help you and is game to the process. That's a real advantage to doing work for free. The best thing that this gives you a chance to do is to get reviews from a real client. You can get a blurb that you can put on your website. You can film a video testimonial that's super useful. You can ask them for referrals for other people that they would recommend your services to after you're done working with them. That's really the true gold that you can't get when you work on your own spec projects or passion projects. And that's the real use to you. So if you're clear on what it is that they can do for you as an exchange, then it takes it out of them doing you a favor and it makes it really an equitable trade for your time. So right off the bat, name exactly what it is that you can do for them, what the experience would need to look like to be fair to you, and what they can do as a way of helping you out in part of that process. That way, you both start with clear expectations, you've set boundaries over the thing so it doesn't feel like it just runs on forever, and you can have a good experience. You can even have fun. And it takes away the pressure of trying to make the work something that represents you personally and your whole idea of what you want to make as a designer or any kind of creative. And that way, what you do walk away with is good reviews, good referral, and a good client experience. Finally, and completely separate from that, you don't need real clients to make work that you're proud of. That's what passion projects are for. You can make such better work creating a brief for yourself using a brief website like GoodBrief. There are so many good materials to give yourself a prompt or a brief or something interesting to work from. Create a client that you actually want to represent you. Work begets work. You want to make things that really represent the kind of work that you want to get in the future. You can have fun. You can fully flesh out a project far beyond the confines of what someone might actually need in a real life. Or you could take the inspiration of the project that someone asked you to do, use that as a jumping off point, and then do whatever the heck you would want with it without needing to go back and forth with them. You create other materials, you create a whole supporting suite of things, and fully flesh it up. Mock it up on mock-ups and show what you would do with that project. Then you can really create the thing that you're proud of and divorce it from the real world expectations of the person you're trying to work with. So please, take my advice as someone who has so been there and gone round after round just trying to make the thing end. And have this in your back pocket. So the next time this comes up, you have a response ready to go, you seem super professional, you turn it into something that really works for everyone, and you walk away with an actually enjoyable experience. If you want to give this a try, please let me know. I'd love to hear how it goes for you. Drop down in the comments, and I'll see you next time.